Okay, so let's get started with GitHub. If you do a quick search in Google, you'll probably land on GitHub's page. So let's visit GitHub, and this will be its main page. Now, if you navigate a bit through GitHub's main page, you kind of get a short introduction of how this would work. You create a project, you create a repository on GitHub, and then you will start either collaborating by creating different branches or working on your own. Okay, so it's pretty basically forward. Also, GitHub endorses Visual Studio Code, as you can see, so that's why we're using Visual Studio Code for this course. Now, if you go to the top of the page, we have a short explanation about why you should use GitHub. You can discover this on your own later on. Then if you wish to work in a team, enterprise, GitHub is used by many companies. We could explore further, marketplace, and up here we will have pricing. Now, GitHub is free. It has a free plan. So if you click on pricing and go to plans, then you will see there's a free plan, which I would suggest and we will also use in this course, and you can use it for a long way. Then there's a paid plan and a team plan, and then an enterprise plan. Now, a couple of years, or well, not so far along, you couldn't do private repositories using the free plan, but now you couldn't do any private repositories using the free plan, but now you can do. So there's really not much difference. So as you can see, there is obviously a huge difference, and also the enterprise then. But for us, for the purpose of this course, the free plan is enough, and also for you, a free plan is totally enough a long way, as long as you don't work in a huge team. So let's go ahead and create. Now let's go back to our main page. Let's create our very first GitHub account. You can either sign up here or down here. Just enter your email address. Really doesn't matter. Let's click on the sign up button because this is really cool. It will take you through like a code base. Now you should enter here your email address. I already have I have a couple of GitHub accounts, but for this specific course I created a different account, so it would be much easier to have really the same thing almost. Okay, so enter your email address. It will take you through the steps. You will receive a verification code. You will verify your account, and only then will you have your GitHub account up and running. So pause the video here, complete the steps, and when you're finished with your sign up, then please come back to this. Also, one important information: don't use for usernames smellypants 2000 or something like that, because this will be your portfolio for later on, maybe, or you can create another one. But yeah, this is where people find jobs, or people are found for different jobs. So create a serious one. So see you back soon, and I'm going to continue. I'm going to cut the video here and continue on. Okay, so let's say you created your very first GitHub account. That's basically how it looks like. You have nothing in here. You have no commits, no pull requests, no nothing. You are starting with a brand new project. Now you can either create a repository from up here, create a repository, or from up here, create a new repository, import repositories, because you can import repositories from another hub. GitHub is not the only hub. There are different places that they host repositories, but well, GitHub is just the best. Believe me. Okay, right on the right side, you will have your account. You have your account name. As you can see, I named it really specific, Norbert PM School, because this repository is going to be used for these purposes only. Okay, so let's start and create our very first repository. Let's click on create repository, and we are greeted with this user interface. Let me make this a bit larger. I hope you can see it right now. Okay, so right up here you will have your explanation. A repository contains a project file, or all project files, sorry about that, including the revision history, and so far and so on. Basically, your GitHub name will then be associated with this repository, with whatever name you give it. But we're going to give this the name of GitHub Sandbox, just as we give the name of GitHub Basics. Sorry about that. Just as we give it to GitHub. So let's type in GitHub-basics, and it is available, because this will check if you already have a repository with this name. Now for the description, you can type in here any kind of description you want. Let's say this is my first repo. Repo stands short for repository. and a dot. Now you can make it either public or private, as I said. And it's already explaining here, anyone on the internet can see this repository. You choose who can commit. Okay, so not anyone can commit to the repository. Anyone can download the code, but they cannot upload new code and overwrite your code or create different branches, so far and so on. You could also make it public if you wish. If you choose so, then nobody can access it. Nobody will see it. Nobody will access it. Normally, there's a README file added to each and every repository. This will, as it's explained down here, this is where you can write a long description of your project. We don't need this right now. You can add a git ignore. So as you can remember, we added a git ignore as when we created our repository locally, not remotely. In this case, you could add a git ignore here, and then when you create your pull request or clone it, you will already have the git ignore in there. Okay, so for example, Android. There are also a couple of presets here. I'm usually not using this. I'm creating my own git ignore file. You get a license to be added. In the license, you will specify where this code can be used or not. And yeah, that's basically it. You can go ahead now and create repository. As soon as you click it, it's going to load, depending on the internet connection. And there we go. You have your very first repository. Now, we're not done yet. From this step on, actually, let me go through the top bar. Up here, you will see your issues, if you have any. Your pull requests, so if someone else, welcome to pull requests help you collaborate on code with other people. Okay, so this is just for collaboration. As pull requests are created, they'll appear here in a searchable and filterable list. To get started, you should create a pull request. We will not create this right now, we'll create this later on. Actions, if there's any kind of action you should take. Then we have projects. This is relatively new. We'll see if we dive into this later on. Wiki, security, if someone messed with your repository, and insight. In inside, you will see how many merge pull requests you got, open pull requests, closed issues, new issues, so far and so on. It's kind of a project management system. You also have your contributions. Click back on issues. Your community, who did what, traffic, what kind of traffic this repository has, and so far and so on. Also have here your settings. We'll get into this a bit later on, but for now, let's go back to code. And right here is where your URL for this specific project now is, for this specific repository. As you can see, HTTPS, so this stands for secure, from github.com, Norbert PM School. You will find here whatever username you created, and the repository, github-basics.git. Okay, now if you wish to copy this, you can hover over it, copy, or click here, and this URL will be now copied to the clipboard. SSH, we will get into this a bit later on. For now, we're just going to start off with our basic HTTPS request. Okay, now there are two possibilities. Create a new repository, and this is also what we're going to do, or push to an existing repository, or implement code from another repository. As I said, there are different repositories, hosts out there, and you can import from them. We're not going to do this. We're only going to focus on GitHub for now. Okay, so this basically means we need to create a local repository. We have our remote repository now. Now we're going to create a local one, and we're going to start communicating between them.